format. So I think maybe, I don't know, I think that's a really good point, especially like when you get to the point where you're like us, where you want to read all these things and then you have to have them in some kind of like online, like Mendeley or something, some kind of organization way to where you want to get back to it later.
Right.
So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I only vaguely remember the website, but I don't know if this is true, but I seem to recall it being somewhat cluttered when I tried to. So when you go to the website, there's like lots of like news and then like just lots of little things, and that sort of like it's overwhelming when you first look at it.
Right.
And then I want to be able to like open things and have like a clean page, like not have any of the clutter around it, just none of the ads, none of the you should look at this or that, just the article, and then I can go back and do
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, I can understand that, especially since you're probably reading lots of articles and you're kind of used to like those clean pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, like exactly, like archive pages.
Like published papers.
And published papers, yeah, like that's what.
All the same format.
I remember, so this is like a while ago, but I had read some, what was it, a Scientific American article, and it was like 10 years ago, and I was talking to someone about it, like somehow it came up, I was like, oh, I have to show you this article. Well, when I went to like their site to like Google like the keywords, I couldn't find it.
Oh,
and it
okay.
was so weird, like it was like the weirdest thing, it took me like so much effort to find that article.
Just that one article, yeah.
And I remember, like, I mean, I don't think I ever got to the point where I could even show the person the article because it took me that much time.
Yeah.
And I remember there being, like, I remember it taking me a really long time, and you would think that the keywords would have found it, but it didn't. I had to, like, kind of recall, like, what year and month approximately.
Oh, and do it by, like, the
And
archive date.
Yeah, and then, like, just manually start searching through the magazine. And I was like, I was kind of, I remember just being like, oh, and I printed it so that I would never do that again.
There you go.
You can't find it by Googling it. What's the point of being online?
That was kind of it. I
Yeah.
was like, how come I can't find? So first I just, like, that's what happened. First I just started with like Google. And then I was like, oh man, like, I knew it was Scientific American. So then I went to their website and then tried searching, like, using their search
Yeah.
or their find. And it was, but I was like, is the problem because it was so long ago? Because it was like, I don't know.
Oh,
maybe
possibly.
2000-ish or like a roughly 2000, year 2000. So I don't know if maybe things have changed sooner, but yeah, definitely looking back, it was difficult. And I mean, in the end, I was just thankful that I ended up could finding it.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the way to search for articles can be complicated.
Yeah, have you had any problems like that on the Physics Today website?
No, I haven't, and
That's
honestly, I haven't, and like I don't have any situations where I've looked, even like those review, like the synopsis for like physics review letters or something.
Mhm.
Those are also really nice, like to search. Like I haven't had much problem with those ones.
Oh, that's good.
But
yeah.
it was just one example of something that that had happened in the past for me.
Mhm.
Do you want us to look at the website real quick so we can give you like updated feedback?
You know what? That's okay. Because what we're getting at here is like your overall experiences.
Right.
So if without looking at the website you remember something like that bar, that means it's a really strong memory, right? That like even without looking at the website you can remember that.
Yeah.
So for this discussion group, we don't need to actually look at the website itself. Any other issues? Like, have you found any issues, or you, Andrew?
I don't remember anything specific. You know, I think for the most part, it's laid out like most other websites, so maybe there's the same issues as other ones, but nothing egregious that stands out.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, I took a look yesterday, but yeah, I don't think I had seen the homepage like really at all.
I don't think I've ever seen the homepage.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because you're following links
Yeah.
to like specific
Yeah.
articles, so you probably wouldn't see the homepage or really need to like search for an article necessarily.
Yeah, when I search for an article, I use Google, and then it links to the article on Physics Today, so I never search on the Physics Today website.
Right? Makes sense.
I really like the font
Yeah.
that the articles use.
Yeah.
I just remember the font being nice.
Yeah, and if you have any positive feedback, it's a good time to talk about it too. I feel like people remember the negative things more
Yeah.
sometimes, but yeah, there are also positive things that should be mentioned.
There's one thing that I really, really liked. It was the Physics Today article on giving access to journals in Cuba.
Oh,
And it
okay.
had like the whole front page was like all about, you know, and I felt like what I really liked about that was kind of showing, because we all value the access to journals.
Mhm.
And then, like,
Yeah.
obviously, we go to archive, right? Like, most of us will go to archive unless we want to find, like, the original journal, because sometimes versions are slightly different, right, between archive and what's actually published.
I'm sure, because they have to
yeah.
make revisions to
Right.
get published. Yeah.
So just the fact that they actually went as far as to, like, talk about those kinds of things, like, really hit home for me. Actually, like, my family is from Cuba.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Not my generation, but, like, my father's generation, for example. So just the fact that, like, people, like, you know, giving access to that, and then it just talked about more kind of things, you know, like just wanting to give, you know, certain groups of people who don't have access, who are still doing physics and science,
Right.
give them access to resources to, you know, expand, like, their own knowledge.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I really liked that article. When it came out, it was, like, something that I could, like, somehow connect physics to, like, my family.
Yeah.
Because most of
it's
us,
more
our
personal.
family doesn't actually know what we're doing. So it's kind of like, hey, this is not about what I'm doing, but look, you know, these American physics organizations are actually,
Yeah.
you know, causing some productive change.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, that's a good segue into my next overall question is, when you're reading articles on the website, what articles do you most enjoy reading about? What articles do you like to read? So that's a great example.
I like the sort of meta articles about physics, like the physics society, like this, like, these are career rates for physicists, or like, these are what physicists are doing, and stuff like that. I don't read a lot of news about physics on Physics Today. I read news about physicists.
Sure.
This is something I mostly read in the magazine, but when they have those short, like, 2-page articles on sort of a very niche study that someone did, like, I remember a few months ago, it was the size of bubbles in champagne and how.
Oh, whoa.
And it's like these cool studies like that are, you know, not at all like deep breakthroughs in physics, but very easy to understand and like very applicable to real life. I always just find those really interesting because some of the articles are just too long. I feel like, and like some of the history ones are very in depth, or if they're on a subject,
Right.
like
Yeah.
even though it's not a peer-reviewed paper, it can still kind of seem somewhat complicated if I'm not in that field. But things
Right.
like those that are very short and designed to be read by anyone who knows a little bit about physics are really interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Among all of these, one of my favorite parts is the introduction to new books.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. I've read that.
Reviews are
Yeah, book reviews, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but first I look at the person, the author of the book review, to see the relevance.
Oh, yeah.
I like that part. Right.
I also like catchy headliners.
Yeah.
I forget, there was this one, I forget what it was called, but it was kind of like along the lines of what you were saying. It was where there was some group who like put a bunch of dice in this like, I don't know, like this bowl. It was shaped specifically, and they turned it really fast to see how quickly it would get organized.
Okay.
And they figured out how quickly like they could get it all like arranged the way they wanted, and like they like tied it to like, I don't know, like it was like some statistical mechanics type problem, but
Right.
the headline was like really clever. Something about they know how to like rotate their dice or something. But I don't know if that was Physics Today or if it was maybe like a synops from like PRL, because I think it ended up being PRL. But it's something really like catchy headliner. And the same thing goes like in my email. Sometimes I'll look at an article based on what the title says.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And like the job postings, I'm
Mhm.
getting further along in graduate school, so I'm not looking to like apply to those jobs, but I always do kind of glance at them, like
Oh, yeah.
what kind of
Yeah.
jobs are available, or like what universities are hiring where, what
Mhm.
it look like. So that's not really as much content. I know people pay to have that in the magazine or on the website, but it's
Yeah.
still something I actually find interesting and useful.
Yeah, it's just good to keep up with industry trends,
Yeah.
especially with employment, especially since you're students. It makes perfect sense.
Another thing I like is when the articles link back to previous Physics Today articles, because usually
Oh,
it'll
okay.
be, writing about some topic, and then there's some other Physics Today article from 10 years ago that was introduction to the same topic. It's a more
Yeah.
basic level. So then you can go back and read that, and that kind of gives you more information than on the subject you're reading about. Is
Yeah.
if you're reading an article that's too complicated,